Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Patreon podcast. This week I wanted to talk about how things should change. And it's kind of ironic that I'm doing that here in the meeting room that I started this whole podcast in 3.5 years ago. It's kind of weird being back in the office. This is more of a personal journal entry more than anything else, but it's something that I really wanted to talk about because honestly, there's been a lot of things happening the past couple months. And the more I think about it, the more I feel that I need to change my workflow. I need to change my projects and my creative output and all this other stuff. And while, excuse me, while I should talk about the creativity part of that, where I think that things should change in the projects as well, where like even with dance music, things don't really stay static. They don't really stay the same for very long. They're always moving and evolving and flowing and growing in different ways to keep people interested in what they do. And I think that there's a lot of value translating that to your creative career as well. And having said that, I've been struggling. I've been trying to figure out what I can do to evolve and grow. And I don't know if that is related to the 2-hour track challenge, if it's related to my Patreon campaign, if it's related to just the projects that I have in my backlog that I want to finish. Like there's a lot of variables that I need to kind of look at and go over and see what I want to keep and what I want to maybe move on from. And I mean, it's a hard conversation for me. And I'm still figuring it out, but I figured I would record a little bit and talk about my process and then talk about how I want to approach this stuff because I know that it's important. And, you know, I would like to think that there are people out there who are interested in what I do, which, you know, I feel that people don't give me Patreon money for, you know, for good vibes. But I think that it's just, I don't know, like I've been doing this for 7 years now. The Patreon, my Patreon anniversary was, I think, May 11th. It kind of went and gone without much fanfare this year because I have had so many things going on. Aside from our kitty passing away, we had my wife had art shows back-to-back weekends, and it's just like we were either running to a show to set up and sell stuff, or we were like running home and packing everything up and like trying to recover from sleep and all this other stuff. And it's just like the past 3 weeks have been just kind of a blur. Excuse me, I'm gonna get water. So it's hard to it's hard to kind of celebrate that kind of stuff when I'm just like, I just want to sleep, or I just don't even want to be on my phone or my computer. And, you know, I think that there's a lot of, I don't know, I have a lot of friction right now. And I guess that's kind of what it comes down to. I like doing the 2-hour track challenge. I still have a lot of fun with it. But I feel like I could be doing something else with my time. And I don't know what that something else is and how I would spend that time to bring value to people. And I need to figure that out, obviously. That's something that I'm still working on. But I really love the 2-hour track challenge because it gives me an outlet every week. And it gives me something new to share and to personally grow. And like it gives me so much. And of course, obviously, your support as well really helps. I've had to replace some hardware lately, and having the Patreon money actually is very valuable for me. So it's like it checks a lot of boxes for me, but there are times, and especially when the songs that I make are not terribly inspired, but there are times where I'm thinking, like, is this what I should be doing with my time? Should I be evolving beyond this challenge? Should I be trying to do something new? And I don't really have an answer for that. I'm not really sure if what I should be doing for the rest of my life, which is ridiculous. Like, obviously, at some point this is going to end. But if I should be doing the 2-hour track challenge every week, or if I should be focusing on making smaller, more contained video game or media loops, or if I should be focused on doing something completely different. I don't know. Like, I had fun doing the sample packs, but juggling the sample packs with the music, with like weekly videos and all this other stuff, like, it was way too much, and I burned myself out on that. And I still, on Gumroad, I still make okay money. I mean, I would say like maybe $200 a month or something, which isn't nothing. But I mean, if I'm going for pure revenue, I should focus on that more. But like, I'm not anymore. I care about the money, obviously, but I'm not driven by it the same way I was when I was in my 30s. And that's partially because, I have a stable job for the moment and things are going okay there. And it's just like, yeah, I guess this is me just walking in circles right now, but like, I think that it's important to have this kind of mindful conversation with yourself at some point. Don't recommend recording it and sending it to the internet, but here we are. And I think that, at some point the 2-hour track challenge is going to go on hiatus. And with that, I don't know if the Patreon is or not. It might or it might not, but like, I don't want to just have the Patreon run without me providing value for it, But I also don't want to get rid of the Patreon because I send everybody here who wants to support me. So it's like I'm in a bit of a catch-22 when it comes to that, right? Because the lights just went off. I'm not moving around enough. Because I want to make things and I want to bring value into other people's worlds and their projects. But I also don't know how to do that in a way that is different. Excuse me. I literally just woke up. So like my plan in the mornings where I go into work is I get up at 6:30 and then I leave like right away. It's like 7:15 right now. So like I literally woke up, drove to work and started recording this. But like I want to bring value into people's projects, and I want them to feel like the money they give me offers value to me, like it's a transaction at the end of the day. And I want to make sure that if I stop doing the 2-hour track challenge, that I have either something to replace it or some other system for people to support me. Because I don't really want, I don't know, like, and that's the whole problem. Like I'm stuck in this little loop where I'm not really sure the right solution is. And I'll figure it out. I already told myself I'm going until the end of the year for this. So it's not like I'm going to shut everything down tomorrow. I'm going at least until the end of the year, maybe even past that. It kind of depends on how things go. Because again, I do enjoy doing it. If I hated doing this, I would have stopped. I would have been like, yeah, this isn't working for me. I'm done. I think that the challenge and the streams and all that other stuff is really valuable for me as a person, but also me as a musician and me as a business person. Like it checks all of those boxes and it works really well, but it's just feeling a little bit more stagnant than usual. And that might be entirely because I've been doing it for so long and I need to switch up the format. I know my buddy Slamhouse, he does Tunes Day on Tuesdays. And it's a very similar thing where he just sits down to write a song. But in his case, he doesn't have a timer. He just writes a song until he's done. And that might take, an hour, and it might take 6 hours. But he just streams until he's done. And honestly, that might work for me. I don't know. My fear with that is is that if I don't have a timer ticking down, if I don't have a deadline, that I won't be able to finish a project. And I don't think that's true. But I also know that I push forward with some of these songs because I know that I have to have it done in 2 hours. And, if I don't have that time restriction, I might be more precious, rather. I might be more precious with my ideas. And then that will result in a lot of like projects that don't really get off the ground because I feel like I could do better. And, ostensibly, I won't know until I try. And, I should try. Because when I do like the National Solo Album Month, I technically don't have a deadline, but I still get a lot of stuff done because I go into those projects with an idea and a goal. And I think that it's really important that I, have those things in mind when I'm making stuff. And I want to keep doing, I just want to keep doing things, and obviously I want to do things in a way that allow people to support me, because, basically the Patreon and my pretzel royalties and all that other stuff, like that is my studio budget. Like I am blessed with the fact that I don't have to pull money out of my own funds anymore to replace things in my studio. Like, my business is actually supporting my business. And that's really good. And I don't want to sully that. But it's okay for things to change. To get back to the original point, I really think that, at the start of next year, I'm going to try some new stuff. And obviously, I'm going to try to find a way to do new stuff that still brings a lot of benefit to Patreon subscribers. But I need to figure out a new way of approaching being creative, because it's not even burned out. It's just like I've been doing the same thing for 7 years now. And I can go through my backlog and I can see how I've grown and I've shifted and I've kind of fallen for my own little personal trends, and I really enjoy certain things. Like I remember, I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago, but where I was like really into diminished chords and I was like using them in every song and stuff. And I think that's really cool that I have like this huge library of songs that just catalog my actual growth as a musician over 7 years. And I think that that's incredible, and I want to preserve that. I still want to make a song every week. And I just need to find a new way of approaching this challenge, I think. Because I love streaming. Even if this week's stream, I think there was a maximum of like 5 people there, and it was still fun. It was still a good time. I was very happy to have people to talk to, because it feels weird streaming when I'm just talking to myself. But like, I feel that like everything about that, about my current setup is correct, except the way that I express myself creatively. And that is possible, and that is open to change. So I just need to figure out how to change it in a way that kind of refreshes my brain. And I don't really know how to do that. So it might be just more focusing on yes and production, which is what I do a lot in the 2-hour track challenge now, where I just start with an idea and I see where it goes. And if it goes nowhere, with the 2-hour track challenge, I start over. But if it goes somewhere and then it just kind of stops with another thing, then maybe that's just a song loop, and then we can move on to something else. Like I want to keep making things. But man, see, and I'm thinking about that, and it's just like, how do I catalog that stuff? How do I put it into groups and allow it to exist in like an album form or something? And it's just like, that's the problem, where it's just like the 2-hour track challenge is like this perfect encapsulation of everything, where it allows me to create something enjoy the creation, but also know that I have a time limit on it, so I'm not wasting's the wrong word. I'm not spending tons of time making one thing. And at the end of it, I have something that is already cataloged into an album, already ready to go for that album, aside from, some cleanup. I don't know, man. It's like the perfect system. For me, anyway. Obviously, it's not for everybody. But something about it needs to change. And maybe that change is small. Maybe it's big. I don't really know, but this is me kind of ruminating over the whole idea because I know something needs to change and I just don't know what it is. So I'll get there. But this is kind of my official posting. I've kind of rumbled about this for the last 6 months, but this is kind of my official posting with me actually talking about it to the 4 people that actually listen to this thing. But, it's good for me to get things out into the world because that makes it more real. And I think that this is the right way to go, but I'm not really sure. So it's got to think on it more. But the whole point I'm trying to make, and to bring this back to the original topic, is like, I think that things do need to change. And if something's been going on for this long, it just feels stale. And that might just be that your brain's used to it and that you don't really have to think about it the same way anymore and that you don't have that same fire that you did when you started it. But I think that it's important to just like try to refresh things and change the formula a little bit and see if that change kind of brings that fire back to you. And really, I guess, even if things do get stale and you're still excited to do it, like, you don't have to change anything. I'm not telling people to change the way they dress or whatever. Like, it's just, I'm trying to just kind of go through this in my head and see what works and what doesn't and how I can resolve all this. And there's some more work to do, I guess, but I'm getting there. But like I said, through all this, I just want to make sure that I continue to add value to people's lives and to justify the fact that people are paying me to do it, It still kind of blows my mind that that's happening at all. Anyway, I should probably go to work. I've been rambling on for 17 minutes and 40 seconds. So I will leave it here, but thank you guys so much for being a Patreon supporter, and thank you so much for listening to me ramble on for so long. I do really genuinely appreciate it. I hope that you have a fantastic Friday and a wonderful weekend, and I will talk to you in the next one, which might be another journal entry. I don't know. That's the other thing, and not to beleaguer the point here, but like this Patreon podcast, I think has seen its end of days too. Because I don't know what else to talk about anymore. I might do some journal entries, and I kind of want to bring it up to episode 208, which would mean roughly 4 years of me doing this. I know I've missed the last couple of weeks because of family things and all the other stuff that I've talked about at the beginning of the episode. But like, how do I want to manage all that? If I close out the Patreon podcast, how do I change the tiers to manage all that? Again, I don't want to go down all that road. Either way, things are changing, and it's going to be good in the long run. But nobody likes change. There's always friction and uncertainty. But I want to make sure that, rest assured, I want to make sure that I bring value to people, and that value is something that is precious. So something that I'm considering. Lots of things happening, but it'll be okay. Anyway, we're almost at 20 minutes. I'm going to go. Thank you guys so much. I'll talk to you later. Be remarkable.